Um, it's a big occasion for us as Swallows FC participating in the Indian Top 8 this season. It's also something to look forward to from the players as well. Look, the training matches, the friendly games we've been playing doesn't have the same edge as competitive match. So yeah, it would be very intriguing. At the same time, also very informative in where we are at the competition phase. Yes, it's a curtain raiser for the league to kick off. So it will tell us also where we are in terms of competition, in terms of our planning, in terms of our readiness as well. You understand? But coming up against Orlando Pirates, it's a big task. It's a good measuring tool as well because yeah, they're one of the big boys in the league as well, and yeah, this is the teams who want to compete against. The top eight is not very easy. It's the eight best teams in the league that finished the last season as the best eight. So it's going to be a very good match that I can promise you. Both football teams want to play football, and tactically sound as well, and have some very good players at his disposal. And the same can be said for the coaching staff as well.
Thank you, Coach. I'll now take questions from the floor, and I see Vuyo Matrova has his hand up. Vuyo, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much, Fatu, and good morning to you and the coach and our colleagues. Coach, I just want to get your thoughts around this. I mean, coming from just pre-season training and going straight into a cup competition, especially an MT8 that, you know, has so much pressure. What are your thoughts around that? You know, if, for example, we had started with the league, you would sort of know that I'm preparing the boys like this, and if you make any mistakes, you've got an opportunity to sort of fix it at a later stage. But in a cup competition like this, high expectations immediately in the first game, and then if you don't do well, you are knocked out immediately. Just your thoughts around that, starting with a cup competition in our seasons as opposed to going straight into the league. And just my second question is, out of a game like this, with the high expectations of a cup competition, how much do you learn in terms of then preparing to the season? How much do you take out of it? Because it comes with a lot of pressure on its own. Do you pick up a lot?
Yeah, the game itself, the game itself, it gives you so much insight into your readiness, into your preparations. You understand the fact that we have a knockout formation concerning the pressure of a cup competition and the pressure to perform as well. That I think that's one aspect we lost out because the pressure that came last season, the pressure we created by the start we had, and then the pressure came from the media and the public also, and in our camp as well. Because I think at one stage we were considered title contenders, and that tag put us under a bit of pressure. So we've dealt with it now during pre-season. Hopefully we sorted it out with the pressure situations, the mental aspect of the game as well. That was part and parcel of our pre-season. And also reaching objectives about how far we want to go in this competition. Yes, it's a knockout competition. You must lose. You understand? So yes, we are in it this season to win each and every game this season.
Thank you, Coach. Let's move on to Karabo.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Fatu. Good morning, Coach. I hope you're well. And good morning to my colleagues as well. Coach, I just wanted to find out in regards to Buffa Nhleko, to understand that he's out with an ACL 6 to 9 months. How far is he, and has his contract been extended yet? Because I know last season he had a one more year. So just in regards to that. And secondly, Coach, how's your new assistant coach adapting to, you know, the culture and the coaching, you know, how things are being done in terms of coaching at the club? Thank you.
Yeah, Bafana is due to go for his op on the 20th now of this month. He has been going to a program where the medical team wanted some strengthening done around the injured ligaments, the meniscus, the ACL, the PCL, or ACL, all of that. You understand? So look, it's a massive blow for us. 5 Man of the Man awards in the first half of the season. Already there, we decided to activate the option. So we could see how valuable he is, and at this level also he has become a key player immediately in the first couple of games. So yeah, majority of the boys that were promoted with the team had an option on the contract, and majority have been activated. So Bafana's part and parcel still of the team. Yes, the operation and the rehab and getting him match ready as well, that will take us 8 to 10 months. That's the you understand, but that's Bafana. He's still part and parcel of the team. Yes, his contract was activated. Concerning Simo, he's still finding his feet as well. It's a different environment here at Swallows in terms of the atmosphere, the cloakroom, the amount of experience boys we have, the tactical differences that some coaches are used to. Here at Swallows, we try to be innovative in terms of our coaching, in terms of our structure, in terms of our tactical understanding. Our analysis, everything is different. So for anybody who comes in, they have to adapt. And at this stage, Simo has adapted. He's still finding his feet. There's still something that is new to him as well. But he has also shown his value and what he can add to the coaching staff and to Swallows as well. You understand? He's been around in coaching for so long. So a different opinion, a different pair of eyes, also challenge you in a different way. So yeah, he's part and parcel of the family now.
Okay, Mark, listen.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Coach, 20 draws last season in the league certainly speaks to a measure of consistency, but I see you've lost a lot of players and you've got a lot of new players. How's that thrown you out, if at all, in your preparations for this campaign? Is it like you're sort of starting all over again?
Yeah, you could say so, Mark. In terms of the players we lost, it's key players. It's players that performed in the first 11 and starting 11. So in that regard, losing five of that key members as well, that puts you on the back foot somehow. But I think in the transfer window, the players that we identified, the players that we brought in as well, it is direct replacements. And also, I'm anxious to see the new boys come in, because as much as the likes of Segoto, the likes of the Bedi that we have lost, we've replaced them with real quality coming in. In terms of where we finished also in the league as well, we wanted to improve. We want to improve, in fact, and that's objective that's been set out by the playing staff as well as the technical staff, not just management. So the new players that came in, we have no doubt that they can perform at that level, if not better. Anxious to see like I said, the new boys like Dylan Solomons, Ketan Luvo, Strade Mwambi, George McLeod. It's new guys that came in. So I'm really anxious to see, and I have total faith in them that they will perform.
Okay, I'll go to Pilasande.
Thanks, Fatu. Morning, Coach. Morning, everyone. Coach, I wanted to find out, it's your second season now in the top flight, and often there could be a possibility of second season blues. Is it something that you guys as Swallows are conscious of? And if so, how can you circumvent having a bit of a second season slump in the top flight, having been promoted from last season? Thank you.
Yeah, I think any club at this level wants to improve on what we achieved last season. Yes, we looked at the 20 draws. We looked at Mark said it earlier with was consistent in that regard, but it's not the type of consistency you want. The draws we had also last season, I think if we can turn half of that draws into wins, then it would have been a different season even last season. But that's our aim this season, converting that amount of draws into wins. And hence the reason also why we brought in players that we targeted that can fit into our system and will enjoy themselves also in the playing style that we have here. Yes, the 20 draws, it's points, it's 20 points as well. Some people see it as a negative. We turned it around and look at the positives from that draws. Yes, it's draws, it's a point forward, it's not lose, but it's also something that guided us in terms of where we can improve. We looked at our goals against, we looked at the goal scored. So it's still one of the best defensive teams in the league. So hence the reason also we brought in a number of attackers. Wapi Masundo, Austin Mawo, Ketan Nluvu, Dylan Solomons, from midfield as well. The young George Lebese returning from Portugal, Stradum Wambi as well. It's all players that has a goal in them. And they will add value or make the load lighter on the likes of Hamilton, the likes of Jones Longo, who contributed to the goals as well. And also we had a couple of defenders also that contributed to the goals. So we're on the right track. We know about the second season jitters. There's something also that we not really focused on. We only focus on improving from last season.
Okay, Rob Delport, then followed by Mazola and Max Stradom, and then we'll have Tsepo in that order, please.
Thanks, Fatu. Coach, good luck for the new season. Coach, just a little thing about all the new signings. How many faces are we going to see in this next game? And then secondly, some of the old faces. Obviously, a lot of people were surprised how well Vuyo and Cheeseboy did last season. Are they young at heart in this preseason?
The type of experience or the kind of experience Vuyo and Cheeseboy have, you can't buy it, you can't train it. They're still valuable. They're still very much active. They're still key players at the club. So whenever the opportunity arises that they are available and still able to play, they will play. So yeah, for the new season, the new boys, you can also look at Musa. We can also look at Wandisile Letlapika as well. It's guys that is key. Vuyo still runs like a 20-year-old on training. Same with Cheeseboy as well. But the demands in our playing style is different to other teams as well. The demands from our conditioning team as well is different to other teams as well. How we think about managing the players, the individual as well, which takes so many factors into consideration when we take a player. Some people look at the age, we look at the quality that is there, we look at the experience is there, and we look at how we can help this boys along to prolong their careers. I mean, Vuyo I think it's his 20th season this season. Cheeseboy is very close as well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing them. I'm looking forward to seeing them play as well. And I'm just looking forward also that they change the mindset of the South African football fraternity in terms of age is nothing but a number. If you still can perform at this level and still able to, then and the quality is still there, then you should be afforded a chance.
Mazola, you can go ahead.
Yes, thanks, Fatu. Coach, it's Mazola here from Sokaladuma. Just with regards to facing Orlando Pirates, I mean, their player profile hasn't changed as much as yours. They've kept the bulk of the players, and even some of their new signings. You have one of them at your club. What sort of game do you expect? And also, with you sort of balancing the act with a new team, so to speak, do you think you are a little bit maybe on the back foot because you're still getting the players to adjust to what you want, how you want them to play ahead of such a massive game? Thanks.
Yes, Mazola. Getting the new players to adjust and to fit into the style of play and the playing style here at Swallows, it takes some time for new players to come in and they see that it's different to what they've experienced previously at other clubs. It takes some change of mindset, some change of attitude as well. But bring in these players as well. We look at the characteristics of each player. We look at how they can fit in and what they will add to what we had in the past. Yes, it's Nkobo, it's Lanti, it's Truter, it's Tebedi that was lost during the off season. So yeah, it will be a new team. But in terms of the tactical style, in terms of the playing style, we have a certain amount of arrogance here where we do not change. We're not scared to say this is how we will play, and you adapt to what you want to do against us. We have our style, we have our mindset. We're not going to stand back for anybody this season as well. That's what we're trying to instill in the boys as well, to be fearless on the field of play. With its home, with its away as well, our playing style, our philosophy will not change. We don't have a mindset we will go away and look for a draw. That's not in our DNA. That's not in our culture as well. Swallows, this is how we play. This is what we'll do on the day of the match. And you change if you want to, but we're not going to change.
Max Trader.
Thanks, Fatu. Morning, Coach. Yeah, just regarding those 20 draws and the signings. I know you signed all round. You obviously had to replace the midfielders and defenders you lost. But if you look at more signing Solomon's Masonda, there does seem to be an emphasis, obviously, on scoring and finishing. And I'm sure, was that obviously part of the strategy in terms of where you needed to strengthen and turning some of those draws into wins? Because obviously that's an obvious place you can strengthen from your first season back in the PSL. And congrats on that season, by the way. It was, I mean, to finish fifth is amazing. And just more specifically on Masonda, second one, he struggled for game time and goals in Dubai, but we know he scored regularly for Leopards. What sort of condition is he in? What can we expect from him? Are you sure you can get him fully flying and scoring? Thanks, Coach.
Yes, Mark. The goal scoring aspect was definitely something we looked at. The defensive part, I mentioned it earlier that I think the third best team in the league in terms of conceding goals. So I wouldn't say it was a department where we worried about too much. Yes, we have strengthened in defense in terms of bringing on board Jürgen Sassman, Katlego Mohame. You understand? So it's direct replacements, yes, for defense as well. But I also believe that will strengthen us in the then coming to the draws, of course, it's games we led and then we conceded. Means the reason for the defenders, but it's also games we didn't outscore the opponents with so much chances we created as well. And hence the reason also we brought in a number of attackers as well. Masondo, to be honest with you, he's in no condition to start the match. He just joined us now this week as well. You understand? The qualities you can still see it's there. I'm anxious to see the competition between him and Hamildin as well. Yes, it's an extra headache, but maybe we will find a way to have both our main scorers or our strikers on the pitch or find a formation that can accommodate both of them. But competition raises the level so high, and it will bring out the best in both of Hamildin and Masondo as well. And then still you have the likes of you have the likes of Pule Saleng as well, highest goal scorer in the Glad Africa. And those are all guys that have goals in them, not to forget Jones Longo as well. So we looked at that regards. If we don't concede, we will score. And that's where we're looking to turn the corner in terms of the number of draws we had last season.
Okay, as we wrap up now, Karabo.
Thank you once more, Fatu. Coach, I think it's quite obvious that Hamaldine had been initially signed for Chiefs and it changed. Did you have to sit them down and try to re-encourage him again and tell him, listen, I understand you should be disappointed, and quite rightly so. Did you really try to speak to him, try to re-motivate him again to go for this season? And Coach, I see that this season you've obviously brought in a lot of players on permanent deals rather than loans. Was that something that you've learned, that you think you've been preparing players for other teams, that's why you just decided to go for more permanent deals than loan deals? Thank you.
Absolutely correct. We looked at the club, we looked at the number of loan deals we had last season as well, and for a coach and for any club for that matter, to build for the future, that's key. And the loan agreements and the loan players we had wasn't part of that plans, and we had to change that mindset this season as well. Hence the reason we brought in a number of players on permanent deals. Relating to the other question, or coming back as well, with Hamildin, I think half of this, more than half of South African footballers, youngsters, I think is their dream to play for the likes of Kaizer Chiefs. And yes, Hamildin, I would say was a bit disappointed. I had to do some talking to. I had to sit him down also and really get him focused again. Losing out on that deal as well, we had to look at the pros and the cons about joining Kaizer Chiefs as well, and also remind him that at Swallows as well, he has some stability. The performance that he gave us last season and what he achieves also, as his foot halfway on the field as well, in terms of what he achieves, and in terms of looking at the stats as well. He deserves to be, like I said, 1 foot on the field as well. But then you bring along the likes of Masondo as well, who's also pushing for that berth. We also look at Malinga as well, who've now a COSAFA Cup winner and also deserves a chance to start. So that competition just takes the game to the next level, and you can see it at training. The competition level, the wanting to start and the wanting to play, it's there. The intensity is so high, and for the coaching staff, not just myself, it's a massive headache to put out 11 on the park, and also a 20. But his focus, you can look around, you can see around him. There's no time to rest. There's no time to be relaxed. And he has to perform all the time. That's the.
Okay, last 2 questions. I'll start with Tsepo, and then Rob, you'll have the last one.
Thank you, Fatu. Good morning, Coach, and good morning, colleagues. Coach, we saw the squad being revealed last night on social media platforms, and one of the players, who has been training with the team, George Lebese, was not there. Can you just explain to us why George Lebese was not signed, or if there are any reasons why he was not signed, actually?
George Lebese, what a player, top quality. But unfortunately, I wouldn't say we didn't reach an agreement, as George mentioned in the media, rightly so. We didn't get to the negotiation part, and I have to be honest in that regard. George is a top player. There's no doubt about it. His quality, his achievement, the stats, the facts are all there to see. But I mentioned earlier also we had to get the right players in the right positions to also and the right characteristics as well. Unfortunately for George, his style of play and what he can bring to the table didn't really fit the Swallows way. And we need to look at the club first before we consider any individual. Any other day I would take George in my team as well. But you can be the best player, but if it affects the whole makeup of the squad and the makeup of the team and how we want to play, then I'll rather side with the team than the individual. George was very, very good when he was here. You can see the qualities and what he can. But we have a certain philosophy in the playing style at Swallows that we want to maintain. And there's certain aspects in the team which are non-negotiable. And unfortunately, George lost out in that regard. I wish him nothing but the best going forward. What a nice bloke as well, great personality and a top footballer. But unfortunately, at Swallows FC, it wasn't the time for George.
Coach, Rob again. Just going back to the weekend's game. What are you expecting from Pirates? And also your two Pirates loanees, are they available to play against Pirates?
Yes, the two loanees are available to play against Pirates. What I expect from Pirates, of course, the quality is top. They brought on a new coach as well in Mandla, who's always, his team's also always is hard running. Physical players as well. Pirates was physical last season as well. The conditioning is tops. So I expect a fast game. I expect a high quality game as well. And I expect two attack-minded teams having a real go at one another. It's going to be tough for both teams. I think Pirates will. I think they won it last season, if I'm not mistaken. So they would want to defend the trophy as well. But for us being new to this competition, for us being the first time here as well, we want to achieve as well. And I think both teams do not want to lose and would want to go as far in this competition as possible.